I always like Becky Lynn a lot better when she tells me it's going to stay cool.
Yeah, right.
So much better. All right. Well, we're going to let you do some more newscasts now.
Okay.
You're giving me the information I wanted to hear. That's how news should be.
That was all you wanted.
Whatever
was
I
the good
want to
news
hear. That's
about
right.
Wearing a coat. All
Only
right.
2 months, you can really keep him happy,
I
Becky
know,
Lynn.
obviously
That's right.
so. Well, you enjoy that while it lasts.
I will, too.
Did you see? I saw that you look at the 10-day outlook.
Yeah.
One day next week, low of 28. I saw.
That's crazy. This is the coldest I've seen it in the valley.
And
I used to do a lot of
cover up
overnight.
shrubs.
When I was working here at the station that shall not be named, and the place in San Diego, I would drive back in the overnight hours. So I would get done with the show at, depending on where I was, either 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock California time. And then I would drive across, and I go between Gila Bend and Maricopa. It would get 30-ish. But I never had it below freezing once I got into the valley proper.
Were you driving with your windows down? Because I know you like it cold.
No,
So
but I turn the air off.
Okay.
I keep it cold in there. I don't want the wind.
Okay.
No, I did that. So
Okay.
that's the coldest. This is the coldest I've seen it, but we've been below freezing a while here. So that's good. Good stuff. That, of course, that wasn't addressed in the State of the State address that
Didn't
Governor
hear
Hobbs
anything
just
on
gave.
climate change.
Probably just as well to stay away from that hot button topic. She had enough local hot button issues that she could definitely dive into. She seemed a little bit critical at times, did she not? Which I thought was interesting because she quoted a former governor by saying that the job of the critic is easy. The job to find solutions is hard. I'm slaughtering that quote, but she did seem a little critical at times, did she not?
Definitely. And I would ask her, based off of that quote from Bruce Babbitt, which one was she today?
Probably a little bit of both.
What do you think she would say?
Oh, I'm not being critical. I'm just telling the truth. Yeah, that's the way critics always are, though.
Yeah, she's the problem solver today in her eyes.
But that's how everybody is. I mean, that's anybody that's criticizing Gavin Newsom in California is like, I'm not being the critic. I'm just identifying the problem.
But isn't that the biggest part of the problem?
I mean, that is being a critic. Isn't a critic the person that identifies critical flaws? And then the problem solver is the person that's actually out there trying to figure out how to make it better. She did offer some solutions to various aspects. She talked broadly about the border, about homeless and housing. She talked about childcare, about job training and economic development, education, family planning, and water. Those are the big topics that I had. Did you have a subcategory that you thought that I missed?
Subcategories in particular, she really got into guardrails for the ESAs.
I had that under education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, though, public education. She got really heavy there in bashing the ESAs, saying that we need to do more there. No, those were the big ones. Under homelessness, I thought it was interesting. She outlined some steps to end veteran homelessness. That was one of her
Yeah, who's going to vote
points.
against that?
I don't think anybody will.
Isn't that like saying we need to take care of cute puppies? Of course, nobody says but ending veteran homelessness is something that we have as a nation been working on for decades. But what do you do to end veteran homelessness? It's not as though a veteran is a different kind of person. Substance abuse runs rampant in the veteran communities, especially people who are suffering from things like PTSD, people that have been in combat zones. We know this. I'm not giving you any new information. So if you have somebody who's on the street, one is a veteran, one is not, are you going to ignore the person that's not? Even if the veteran says, I don't want your help?
I don't think so.
I don't think you do. So that feels like a platitude and a hollow one.
Well, and my question, too, is another one when it comes to ending veteran homelessness. Like you mentioned, we've talked about this for decades, and it's still going on. You said who was going to vote against it. The devil's always in the details.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to allocate more money? Is this just throwing money at the problem? Because are you going to stop people from joining the military? That would end veteran homelessness if you didn't have veterans. Ta-da! See? I fixed the problem, Joe. I should be the governor. I don't know what they plan to do that's different because we already have ample programs available for the veteran community. Now, does that mean maybe there's another program to try to get more outreach, transportation to facilities, assistance with checking in, whatever it might be, right? Maybe that's the effort here, but I don't know what it is beyond a platitude that says we want to end veteran homelessness. Nobody wants to see veterans suffer. Fair?
Fair.
Okay.
I thought her speech today was fine in general. It dealt with the Arizona promise, and I don't want 15 policy details on each section. You mentioned, housing, homelessness, cost of childcare, job creation, all of those things that she goes through, but it did still feel like it lacked detail to me. It felt very broad-brushed.
I think that comes down to there would be a short phrase that she would offer. She would say something about, we're introducing the microbusiness loan program designed to provide financial support for our state's smallest businesses. And then she would get into a story. And look, storytelling is great. That's how you sell your stuff, right? That's it. But she says, and that is really good for so-and-so who opened a kiosk at a mall. All right, but what is it? And this is where you're saying, I felt like just one more line of detail on these proposals would have offered a little bit more of an explanation.
Instead, a lot of times she would end things with one of two lines. It's the right thing to do, or it's the smart thing to do.
And this is how we serve Arizona's promise.
Okay, just because you said so, it's the right thing to do? Just because you said so, it's the smart thing to do?
It's kind of like when politicians say, it's a common sense solution.
Maybe for you.
Right. Which is like saying, you can't argue with me or you'd be dumb.
If it's so common sense. Now, where she drew her biggest applauses was where it came to abortion and ending the 1864 total abortion ban.
Yeah.
That, to me, felt fairly common sense. Imagine in the year 2024, we were able to get rid of a total abortion ban that was put into law in 1864. That is a common sense thing to do.
It did have some support, though. I mean, that law still had some support. But
that's where she drew her loudest support.
Well, is it because that was common sense, or is it because that was the most partisan issue? I mean, abortion has long been the most partisan issue at state houses nationwide. You're not going to get many Republicans that are going to say, I'm pro-choice. You're not going to get many Democrats say pro-life any longer. You might have 20 years ago.
I don't think that drew the loudest support because it was the most partisan issue.
No.
I think there were other issues that were as partisan today. I recognize abortion as a very partisan one. But there were, at the time that was being debated, there were Republicans who spoke out and indicated that their constituents didn't love the idea of keeping this total ban in place, and they were ready to get something done.
In fairness, we did not have video of the speech in the studio here, so we don't know if it was a partisan applause or if it was bipartisan applause. Like you said, it was loud, but I think it's also I say it's super partisan, and I also think that's the one that gets people the most animated as well. So,
thanks for watching the Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe, and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.